What you doing, honey?
Watching Don Juan when I was listening to the beat.
And you're eating what?
While I finished drinking my cocoa. Yeah. And now I'm in love with you with that.
Are you really watching this?
I'm listening to it. Oh, see, boo.
All right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we are live. And sorry about that. I know some people are not watching, but that's okay. So why don't I just do this? Let's.
So you've got your music ready to release to the world. Stop. Make sure you pay attention to these 3 things before you put it out there. Okay, you wrote the next hit song that will take you to the top of the charts. But what are the important things that you must do before you release your music? There are a ton of things that you could do, but that doesn't mean that you should do all of them. So I picked the select few that will give your release the highest maximum impact to share with you. I'm Seth Mosley, Grammy Award-winning songwriter and music producer, and have had over 25 #1 songs on the radio. By the way, if you find value from this video, hit that little thumbs up button. Most artists have felt the pain of pouring their heart and soul into a song, releasing it to the world, and hearing crickets. Nobody cares. I know from experience that just writing and recording a great song isn't enough. You have to have at least an elementary understanding of marketing music. It's not enough to simply have the music. You have to have the key missing ingredient. Drum roll, please. The audience. So, how do you build an audience? Well, you could spend years touring and building a fan base on the road like everybody else does, or you could use the power of the internet to gather fans for you and your music. I want to first say that none of these 3 strategies are guaranteed to work, but not doing anything is guaranteed to fail. So at least use these as a starting point. Number 1, pick the right distributor. Now this might not seem like an important part, but it absolutely is. And you'll increase your chances of having our second strategy work massively if you use the right distributor from the beginning. Our recommendations are DistroKid, CD Baby, or EMU bands. All three of these distributors meet the basic standards for providing quality metadata and providing you against infringement. They also offer instant access to Spotify for artists, which we'll cover in a minute. Having your metadata correct nowadays is everything. It's how your credits show up for your songs. It's how your songs will be organized in streaming services and stores. And it guarantees that it'll fit the correct formats of all stores and services that they require. DistroKid is only $20 to upload unlimited albums and songs for a year. It pays you all your royalties and even lets you set up splits to automatically route any royalties to your co-writers or to the original writers if you're recording cover songs. CD Baby starts at $9.95 for a single or $49 for a full album. And they offer a pro package which includes publishing and royalty collection. EMU Bands is $42.50 for a single, $59.95 for an EP, and $84.95 for a full album. And they offer bulk discounts. It's a one-time fee and you don't pay anything new each new year. They also do music video distribution to iTunes. There are other options out there, but these are the three that I'd recommend you pick between to get started. Okay, number 2. Pitch your music for Spotify playlists. Many of you don't know this, but Spotify's curated playlists are made by real human beings, not algorithms. Imagine that. The way that they hear music is through the playlist submission tool. This is in the artist portal for Spotify. If you haven't already created your account, that's the first thing that you should do before doing anything else. And I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. Once you've got this set up with Spotify for Artists, you can submit one song from any scheduled release for the Spotify team to discover and consider for editorial playlists. They'll also include it on your followers' release radar playlists. Quick tip: if this is your first release and you don't yet have access to Spotify for Artists, you need to claim your artist profile before your first release even goes live. You'll need to ask your distributor for the URI link to your Spotify artist profile. They will get this after they deliver your music to Spotify for the first time. You can then claim your artist profile by requesting access to Spotify for Artists at artists.spotify.com. Just paste the URI link into the Find Yourself field. Once your request is granted, you can start preparing for release day by choosing your profile's images, bio, artists pick, and playlists, which I highly recommend doing. You can also then submit your unreleased music for playlist consideration. So, how do you do this? You log into Spotify for Artists on desktop, not on mobile. Use either of these ways to find and submit unreleased music. Number 1, at the top of the Home tab, select Submit a Song next to the release you want to submit. Or B, in the Music tab, under Upcoming, select Submit a Song next to the release that you want to submit. One note: the option to submit a song only displays if you have unreleased music. And lastly, choose a song and fill out as much info about the song as possible. The more info you provide, the better chance it has. A few things to remember. The earlier you submit your music, the better. The recommendation is at least 7 days before its release date. This is also required to have your submission included on Release Radar. Work with your distributor to make sure that it's delivered to Spotify ahead of time. Speaking of distributors, make sure you use the right distributor. Remember point number 1? All the ones I recommended to you are the same ones that Spotify prefers. A few more things to remember. Submitting a song doesn't guarantee a place on an editorial playlist, but does give you the best chance. It's only possible to submit one song per artist profile at a time, even if you have more than one scheduled release. Hence, a great reason why you should embrace the new music release model, which is to release one new song at a time, quite often, perhaps once every 8 weeks. If a release has both an explicit and a clean version, both versions are submitted to the editors. If it's selected, they choose the most appropriate version for a playlist. You need to be listed as the main artist on the release to submit. The option's not available for featured artists or for compilations. Spotify's editors reserve the right to creative control for their selections. This means they might choose to feature a different song from the release on their playlists. It's not possible to remove yourself from a playlist if your track is chosen for it. And there's no set amount of time that it'll stay on the playlist. It depends on how well it resonates with listeners. Anyone else with access to your profile on Spotify for Artists, like your manager or the release on Spotify Analytics, if you have a label, can see and edit the submissions. Any changes are displayed for all members. The whole process is totally free to use, and it's not possible to pay to increase your chances, nor can any third parties influence the editors. So there you go. Use the potential power of Spotify to get your music out to the massive amounts of listeners on the platform. Remember, to get the best chance, make sure the music is good and unique. It can't be wildly different from all the other stuff that's out there, but it has to be just different enough to stand out. And finally, number 3, create a marketing plan. After creating amazing, unique music, I'd argue the hardest part is getting your music to push through the noise of so many releases every single week. This is where having a marketing plan comes in. Once again, I recommend starting with only focusing on releasing one song at a time pretty frequently every 6 to 8 weeks. You need a marketing plan for each of these releases. It starts by defining your goal. Do you want to sell more records, get more streams, gain more followers on Spotify, improve your branding? You want to decide what the goal is and make this your WIG, your WIG, your wildly important goal, and then write it down. Then you want to discover your audience and your market. This is critical because you must understand where are the fans that listen to the type of music that you create, since these could be your next fans. Narrow it down to location, age, income level. How do they listen to music? This info is key because it helps you when searching for media support, contacting influencers, or trying to create tours. It also helps to look at similar artists to yourself and do a bit of research to see where they're popular. Some great places to gather this information are Next Big Sound, which allows you to see audience details on other artists, ifyoudig.net, or Spotify to discover similar artists to yourself, Facebook Insights, YouTube video statistics, Twitter demographics, Google Analytics. When thinking marketing, you want to think lifestyle marketing. Knowing your strengths are important. List key past successes and milestones. Add past sales, successful shows, tours, key gigs, stories, awards, anything that you think would be pertinent. You also want to know what things you're naturally interested in. Do you love going fishing and write country songs? Well, I can think of a bunch of potential outdoor stores or bloggers that would be worth contacting to see if they might help promote your new release. Do you love cars and write songs about your rims? Go find influencers in the auto space and DM them with your new music. You may gain some really important new fans this way. And if you're just starting out and don't know who your audience is, that's okay. Just start with what you know and look at fans of other similar artists that you relate to. You also want to address your areas for improvement. Listen, we can all improve on something. It's important to be honest with yourself, but don't give it too much time. Remember, the goal for this marketing plan is to come up with and achieve the wildly important goal. In this section, you should address each challenge that you're currently facing or foresee, and once you state each challenge, come up with a solution for each. Then you want to focus on opportunities. Think of your opportunities as things that you can definitely accomplish even after you've completed the marketing plan. Your opportunities should be doable and specific, but make sure you don't spread yourself too thin trying to do too much. Then set specific goals and objectives for your release. Think short term, 3 to 6 months, 12 months out at the most. Each goal should state what success you want to achieve and how you will measure your success. Next, think budgeting. Taking your music career to the next level is very similar to growing a startup business. It takes a lot of time, patience, and sometimes money to see results. To make your budget as concise as possible, you should go through each action item and come up with the approximate cost of each. While you're doing this, it's also helpful to write down the time each will take. And lastly, develop an action plan. The action plan might include developing a social media strategy to encourage people to check out your new release. Don't only focus on what content you'll need to create and schedule, but think about building in plenty of time to chat and interact with your followers. Your action plan might include what blogs, websites, radio stations you're going to contact to make them aware of your release. It might include, are there any special events, like a release party or shows that you're using to promote the release? Can you promote your upcoming release in a newsletter that you have to an email list? Are you able to come up with a contest to engage listeners? The action plan might include, if you have a budget, you can hire a PR firm to promote your release to media outlets. When you're brand new starting out, I don't think you necessarily have to go that route, but you can if you have the budget, and it can help. And if radio is a part of your strategy, do you have budget to hire an independent radio promoter or have a plan to contact and send stations music yourself? One thing that's important to understand is the play formats and the needs of each individual radio station that you choose. Your action plan might include website and content. Websites are a key strategy point for a lot of independent artists. Your website should have a section for your bio, high-quality photos, touring history, social media links, contact info, and links to where people can stream your music or watch your videos. And then your action plan might also include touring. What shows are you playing? Developing your own touring can be one of the most powerful strategies that you as an artist can build. It's where most big artists nowadays make the bulk of their income. If you haven't played many shows yet, that's okay, but that should probably be one of the first things that you should try to change. Don't worry about how big or small the shows are, especially in the beginning. You should be looking at each show as a rehearsal. You're honing your craft and eventually going to get paid to perform live. If you've already gigged out a bit, start by jotting down a list of venues that you already have relationships with. Venues want to know really only one thing: can you gather a crowd? You'll want to have a basic electronic press kit ready to send them in an email stating your interest. If you have some good press or media relationships who will write a letter endorsing you, social proof can help a ton. Now, this video isn't about touring specifically, so I'm not going to dwell on it for too long, but just know playing live shows can be one of the most powerful parts of your release strategy. Okay, if you found this video helpful, hit that thumbs up button. Good luck with your music release.
Hey, what's up? Hope you loved the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our page for more awesome music industry content. If you are interested in getting a publishing deal, a record deal, or having a career in the music business, I've got a free video class for you right here. Click that link down there to get access to it. And if you want to check out another one of my vlogs, click up here.
Okay, well, I'm back, Jack. We were running through a lot of testing here, and we thought we'd play that little informational piece for you. So that being said, have a good night.